So in the appropriation of the two worlds being heaven and hell, you have principles of manifestation at play that are not readily apparent. Let's use the Lord's Prayer as a portion of it, where the opener says, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. This is the beginning of a law of attraction manifestation practice. And this is for people who are coming up in this age and those who are already products of this age. The law of attraction is still pertinent whether you're using information from an old demiurge or information from the new demiurge, which is still under templation. So the framework is still being solidified for it. It's really already in place and ready. It just takes a while for, the people to respond to what's happening in human history. Sometimes there's like a 20 to 25 year delay on entering a new age. Things don't just change overnight. Like, wow, okay, now it's 1999, now it's 2000, everything has changed. Everything has been made to change, and everything on the stage has been set to change. But everything didn't just change, not every category overnight. It takes a while for things to happen. So that's the usage on the negative side of the art being in heaven. Because when we reference the term Father, we mean creative force. Since no one can really pinpoint God, then you have to deal with the working definition that's given, which is absolute power. Because remember, when it comes to who God is, all you get is war and bloodshed out of response for the people. These fights are over who God is. But if we want to really start handling the mechanics of society properly, we have to start dealing with what God is. Because who, now you have deniability, plausible deniability. God is mysterious. He led me to do this. Or God's enemies led me to do this. The devil made me do it. But when you're just dealing with the idea of God as a concept of power, not only does this put you back in the driver's seat, but it also holds you to the tape. It keeps you accountable. It makes you accountable. You're taking accountability, right? Don't the scriptures say that on judgment day, at the time of judgment, every person must give an account? So while you exist in this day, it is judgment. Don't think of the proverbial judgment day like the scene, the end of the world is all over, the books are open, this, that. The world is ending. You have all these fantastical battles and imagery. If you could read between the lines, you'll understand that all of that is happening now that you're reading. If you can read between the lines, and I invite you to read between the lines if you're reading at all, and understand that things like this, like Judgment Day and the books being open, you understand that the book, when they talk about the books, that's the human heart. Because they're talking about these books contained all of the deeds that people have done, is how the scriptures explain it. Then they talk about a book being open. So you have the book of life, and then you have all the books. The books are the people's heart, but the book of life, this is the codex. It's the codex for the Father. Does your book match the book of life, what they also call the Lamb's book of life? Why the Lamb? Harmless creature to represent life. So when the world had a chance to implement their societal practices based on religion, they put the Lion's book of life. Just by the overall predatory tone of capitalism, you have the lion's heaven and not the lamb's. So you have the lion's book of life. And if you know anything about lions as animals, you know how they handle life. The male, if he's not ruling a whole pack, he's solo. Females, if they're not working together in a pack, they're solo. It's all about the pack. It's all about the group. It's all about the clique. That's the lion's book of life. The lamb is not exclusivity, it's inclusion. This is why Jesus used the analogy of searching for the one lost sheep, because it's about inclusion. The lion is lurking, how Satan was described. Your adversary, the devil, rather, is lurking like a lion, seeking who he may devour. That's subtraction. That's exclusion. Somebody's getting ready to be excluded. Hence, the lion stalks and hides in the blind, waiting on ambush. The sheep are all bunched up together is inclusion. Now, the sheep get a negative name because of the autopiloted nature of groupthink. And sometimes the mental laziness that's implied in this age that we're in right now. So you have people who already know these principles that don't believe in the personage of God at all. Why they do not get thwarted? Because whether they believe in who God is or not, they're operating off of what God's principles are. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within. If anybody tells you, look, here, there, go check it out. He said, don't follow. The kingdom of heaven is already among you. The kingdom of heaven is already within you. So when you go back to our Father who art in heaven, then what are we saying? Our Father who is within. This is what we're saying. Our Father who is within. Jesus said, pray like this. Pray inclusively. When you pray, you're referencing the Lamb's book of life, not the lion. So it's our Father. If it was the lion's book of life, it would be my Father. But it's not my, it's not your, but it's our Father who is within, who art in heaven. Art, the King James English, another term for is, who is in heaven. But also, if you don't have any knowledge of the King's English, I can still help you with that. So if you're coming in and saying, who art? What art? Well, all of creation is art. Look at how everything is designed. There's clearly artistic quality to it, to nature, the life itself. All of this is in place. So it also is the creative force whose artistic, whose art, whose nature, whose artistry starts within, whose art in heaven, whose artistry, if you're not understanding that art is another translation for is. So it's our Father who art, who is in heaven. We did talk about the idea of heaven and hell. So let's go to the hell side and let's provide another angle of context. What I want to do with the hell word is I want to change it. Let's add an apostrophe right after the E. So now we have, if heaven is within, then in this instance we're gonna use hell as an antithesis. We're gonna use that as the antithetical side of it. So if heaven is within, then hell is without. If heaven is on the inside, then hell is on the outside. If heaven is what is, then hell is like the state of going to, what will, which is really the state of the opposite, right? Apostrophe of, if you put an apostrophe after E in the word hell, it becomes he will, abbreviated. He will. If he will, then he does not yet. He has not yet, because he's still You know what I mean? Because he will. So it highlights the lack. It highlights the opposite nature versus heaven being art. What is? Who art in heaven? Who is in heaven? But hell, even in the scriptures, it talks about people not going to hell, but people being transformed into hell. Not transported into hell, but turned into hell. You can't be transformed into something that is not a seedling first. That seed sprouts, it grows, and they really develop into hell because everything is taking place within anyway. Everything is taking place within anyway. So in heaven you have what is, with hell you have what will be, which is what is not. So it's he will, he has not yet. People use this to harm one another and keep controls, certain layers and levels of control on each other. And this is where it gets interesting, because without any people to blame or necessarily credit, you could be held in a conundrum of different thought patterns that were already pre-selected for you. For instance, you might have an inquisitive mind, wanting to know. You might be naturally gifted. You might be blessed with the gift of curiosity. But that can be thwarted on a social scale if your curiosity is not warranted in the belief system that you come up in. This would represent a person who kind of gets shunned or excommunicated from a particular faith because they ask too many questions. And say, don't question God. Don't question. It's not right to question. That's not what the scriptures say. The scriptures say to inquire in his holy temple. Inquiries are questions. Inquiries are requests. The command is to inquire. But when you put dogma and doctrine ahead in front of what the scriptures are, when you try to swap it out like that, you'll get this direct opposition. And because it'll be socially acceptable, you'll think it's right at first, unless you're thinking for yourself. If you're going along with the herd, then you're still in the process of a stage called don't question God. So societally speaking, you're still being tricked into spiritual disobedience, because you won't question, you won't inquire. This is what God wants. Otherwise, the book of Isaiah wouldn't say, come, let us reason together. And reasoning questions are asked. It's not just all definitive statements back and forth. There's give and take. There's conversation. There's rhythm. There's difference of tone. There's question marks and periods. There's commas. There's pauses. There's semicolons. There's exclamation marks and the like. All of this is involved in the inquiry. Without the inquiry, there's no conversation. All it is commands and obedience. And before we decide that this is how God is, you might want to take the temperature of the cultures at the time that a lot of these books were written. And then you'll understand the very same mystery behind the religions that is hiding in plain sight behind the AI. Got to understand that, okay, even if the AI, even if ChatGPT is running on its own, it's still cycling based off of a memory bank that's been implanted with humans. So at the end of the day, AI is essentially human. Not sentient, but I mean, AI isn't putting its own words in there. These words are coming from a lexicon language that's used already. Chat GPT might be using your friend's slang. say, well, ChatGPT, summarize this movie for me. The summary is more than likely a compendium of different humans, because this is a database. Still have to be inputted. You could put any kind of name on it you want. You could put artificial intelligence. What we're finding out, though, is that the idea of sentience and the idea of intelligence, of intellect, they work hand in hand. They're very tight-knit. Without sentience, intelligence is no more than academia. It's just academia. It's just the accepting, the regurgitation of phrases and facts and figures. But that's not how intelligence works. Intelligence is creative. It's dynamic. It's not static. Creativity doesn't say things the same way everybody else does. There's always a unique spin on true creativity that is uniquely the individual's. So they're entering a stage of he will when they're getting ready to change their world on the outside, because you see what has to be done. And it can still be a hell for you if what you want to change but do not change, if it persists. So the opposition that comes with that, if you're not pushing against that, that hell will continue. So the heaven that is within you, right? You have to be in the state of is. You see how that works with manifestation? I'm going to break it down, make it a little easier. So hell, or if you put the apostrophe after the E, he will. Again, this is pointing to lack. This is pointing to straight up lack. The before state. If you want something and you continue to put yourself in the state of he will, hell, of lack, of not having it yet, what you're actually going to manifest is continuing not to have it. You're going to manifest that. See, heaven, in the idea of the Father, is. It's about being in the state known as is. You have to be where you want to go. You have to choose your feelings and stick with it. The idea of dark matter is a dark matter. It's dark because it just sounds too fantastical to explain the mechanics of life that way. To say, no matter what you're looking at, all of this is essentially a black screen. A black screen known as dark matter. That's hiding behind all of the colors, all of the objects that you see. Behind all of this, within all of this, is dark matter. What changes dark matter? What changes the screen of your human experience? Manipulating dark matter. What is dark matter connected to? Your imagination. This is a thinly veiled allegory to the television, to the invention of the television. Because you television, and it's based on the light that's within you. The screen itself is really not the images, it's just a projection of using dominant colors of red, blue, and green over and over, fractalized and patternized to produce images. But essentially, when you break down every single pixel, you're basically getting red, blue, and yellow. The most dominant colors, I believe, in the rainbow. You're really getting a color continuum. What is a color continuum? It's the melting of the chakras. It's the wholeness of the energetic unit known as the human being. Not so much dividing up your chakras and splitting them up and isolating them, but taking the whole body that all of the energy centers are in and activating it all at once as a whole piece, not as separate energy centers within a unit. All of this is our Father who art in heaven. This is all in our Creator who is within. Our Creator who is without is not a creator. That's how this works. There's no such thing as a creator from the outside. The idea of creation itself is always an inside job, and it always starts within. The results is what happens without. So if you want to use another biblical analogy with this, you can use the reaper and the sower. The one who sows is the heaven within. That's the Our Father who art in heaven. That's the sower. The reaper is the hell without, the person who he will, the person who is not yet. They're waiting on it. They can't reap unless the person sows. They can't reap a harvest unless the seeds are planted. The seeds have to be planted where? Within. Nobody lays a seed on the ground expecting a tree to grow, or a plant to grow, or vegetables to grow, or fruits to grow. They plant the tree under ground. They plant it in the soil. So if you're under the delusion that you can plant seeds within yourself without digging into the dirt, without digging into the soil, without digging into your past, you can't. Because you got to go underneath the surface. The seed has to be buried somewhere where nobody can see it. The foundation of a house is not on the second floor. All of this starts off underground. And for all of you that's grinding and striving and trying to become whatever you're trying to become, don't give up. Just because nobody sees what's going on the surface, like we haven't seen a single leaf come up from the ground. This person had a channel for 5 years, 6 years. We haven't seen a single blade come up from the soil. That's okay. The roots are taller. The roots reach deeper than all the vegetation around. Right? If we want to slip back into the parable of the sower, good seed that goes into the soil. Everything else is on the surface. You got the seeds that's scattered on the road. Satan comes and plucks that message right out of the heart. This person doesn't plant the seed any deeper than the surface layer. It just goes in one ear and out the other, on the road and off the road. And you got the seeds that spring up on the thin soil, the thin surface underneath, and they grow up real fast, but because they don't have room to dig deep enough with the roots, they end up getting scorched, falling off at the top of the mountain, climbing all the way to the top, but don't have character to stay at the top. This is what it's like to grow something in a place where you don't have enough room to dig deep. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Sacred be thy name. What is his name? He gave you his name. He said, my name will be I am forever. This will be my recorded name for all generations. So the idea of God is the idea of I. So you're not getting out of the inside. You're starting with the inside and working from the inside. Hence the term I. When you use the term I to denote yourself, you're not referencing external unless you're using an adjective like I am hungry. But still the I and the am is double possessive. First there's I, self-possessed, and then am, self-possessed. So you have self-possessed and self-possessed, and then anything that comes after that. So before you say I am, whatever follows I am, the words I am themselves are there as a marker to help you make sure that you are confirming your decision. Press this button to confirm. If you wish to confirm, press this button. If this is your choice, that's what I am is. I am. But how often are we quick enough to slow that process down mid-negative thought? Like, I'm tired of this. I'm sick of this. what's coming after I am? Are you able to slow it down? I am. And then right before you insert miserable, are you willing to change it? When I was a kid, I used to laugh at the adults that used to try to keep their language clean in front of us, even though they used to cussing. Used to be the funniest thing. You'd be in the store and your aunt or somebody be like, "Oh shit," but you know what they want to say, and half of it comes out, but half of it doesn't. "Oh fudge." Most of it comes out, and they clean it. That stuff used to be so funny. When I became an adult, I understood that you just don't want to influence anybody negatively in terms of being impressionable, but trying to fit yourself in that space between I am and whatever else it is, that becomes an action movie where the antagonist and protagonist both wrestle for the weapon. They climbing over each other, trying to get to the tool. You trying to get a switch and vibration after I am and right before the description. Like, you got a headache, your head hurting, you feel miserable. You said I am, but before you say miserable, you got time to stop. You got time to slow yourself down. Words are very important. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. So don't go into this spiritual surgery just waving scalpels around and slicing. No, you're not going to do this intricate. You're not going to do this intricate surgery with a machete in your hand, right? You're not going to remove a tumor with a hammer. This is involving some intricacies. This is our Father who art in heaven, who is within. So it's already an inside job. It's already an inside job. So hell, back to hell, back to he will, because this is where the need, or I should say the promotion of the use of force becomes more of a stronger reality. So he will, or also hell with the apostrophe between the E and the two L's. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. In this context, hell is just as important as heaven is. The without is a beautiful thing. Without the heaven principle of orchestrating things within, it is not. The person is going through hell, addressing the outside world that is not fixed, that they won't fix from within. All you got is hell to deal with. Or they're going through hell. Like, no, don't go through hell. Transform it into heaven. Just know that hell state or hellscape is pre-manifestational. Look at the idea of hell, if you can, as a blank sheet of paper with nothing on it. You're waiting to change your environment. Flames in your life, demons in your life, boogeymen and monsters and challenges in your life. Fires burning, worms. People are maggoty, right? People are petty, right? Trying to put you through hell. Trying to put you back into the he will state versus the he is state. Trying to put you there. Trying to unmanifest you by leaving you in the pre-manifested state, leaving you powerless. You could change all of that in an instant. just by understanding this principle. So don't be discouraged if you don't have what you desire yet. It's okay. You're in the he will stage. You're in hell. Don't look at it like a bad thing. You're just in the he will or she will or they will stage. You're in the pre-manifested. You are at the official not yet. But that's okay, because not yet is much better than simply not. So, well, are you ready to make it to the top? No. Are you ready to make it to the top? Not yet. Do you bring value? No. Then you ask them again, do you bring value? Not yet. See, not yet points to the reality of your manifestation coming true. Not yet. Those words become very positive. Not yet, but it's gonna happen. Not yet, but it will happen. Yet is a good word. It's a good word. Might not be the best word to hear when you starving and maybe holiday dinner started late. So you sitting around the house 5:30 p.m. stomach growling hard, and you hear not yet. You don't want to hear it then. And you skip breakfast and lunch waiting on the big meal, but it's not ready. You don't want to hear not yet right then. But sometimes we get that way when it comes to our dreams. We treat our dreams sometimes like food that's gonna spoil. Sometimes we treat our dreams like perishables. We treat our dreams like perishables. Like, look, if I don't achieve it now, it's gonna dissolve. If I don't achieve it now, no, you can keep your dream alive. It's gonna stay fresh. It's a dream, it's a vision. If you don't feel the need, somebody else is gonna feel the need, but the need is gonna be filled. As they say space abhors a vacuum. So there'll never just be that emptiness. There'll always be some entity or somebody changing the he will state to the I am state. Going from I will to I am. Yeah. I will. I am. I am is so powerful. This is the state you want to be in, because I am, it does something else. It does something else. I am highlights the present moment. Every single time. Every single time. You can't even go into the past and say I am. You have to say I was. Try it. Try to go back into the past and be like, yeah, man, this person did me wrong in 2005. And ever since then, I am. No, you can't even say that. It doesn't make sense. Ever since then, I've been, or I was. But when you say I am, you can't even dig up the past after that. I mean, unless you really phrase it right, like I am fixing the mistakes that I made in the past. You still got to separate the present moment from the past just by using the word I am. Same thing with the future. You still got to put something in it. You can't say I am rich tomorrow. It's still going to have to be some going to be. There's still going to have to be will. I will. If you are not, then will is mandatory. You get that? Say I'm not wealthy. I'm not making it any further than check the check. Well, you decided that you will not. Just by highlighting that more than what you want, as if you have it. You're highlighting it. This is not to say be in denial, because you still need that he will state. You still need hell. We'll call hell the black screen, dark matter, because this is a dark matter. Not dark meaning bad, but dark meaning mysterious, pre-manifestational, internal, unseen, but not unheard. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed or sacred be thy name. I am is a sacred name. That's a sacred name. We don't look at it like that. We don't say it like that, do we? I'm hungry. I'm you know what I mean? We don't, you know what I mean? Like, check this out. I'm about to drop a bombshell on you. If you were being negative towards yourself, chances are you were taking the Lord's name in vain. You make a mistake, and in your frustration and exasperation, you say, I'm so stupid. It happens all the time. People say these things when they're not stupid, just made a foolish decision. But their mind still works, their thoughts still work. But because they laid this negative connotation on them, and with God saying my name forever will be I am, they just took the Lord's name in vain by putting themselves down. I am sick, I am tired, I am mad, I am frustrated, I'm overworked, I'm underpaid, I'm underappreciated. All of these I ams with negative connotations behind them, you're taking the Lord's name in vain. You think you're talking about yourself, and you are talking about yourself, but you're also talking about the God within. The idea was for you and the Father to be inseparable. The way Jesus explained it. He said, I and my Father are one. To see me is to see the Father. Let doctrine and dogma get a hold of it. You think Jesus is only talking about himself. I and the Father are one. No, we and the Father are one. He still said our Father who art in heaven. He didn't say my. He kept saying our. He said, what you doing with my faith, Peter? No, he said, your faith. What happened to your faith, Peter? He didn't tell the woman, yeah, you've been using my faith, so you ain't gonna bleed no more. Congratulations. No, he said, your faith has made you whole. Go and be at peace. He was giving it back to the people, because I am, because you are. That's what Jesus was communicating. This is what they killed him about, because when you're talking I am talk like that, you don't need priests, you don't need a middleman, you don't need a choir, you don't need a pastor, you don't need stewards, you don't need an usher board, you don't need all these auxiliaries, you don't need all these middlemen, you don't need all these buffers. The guy said in The Godfather, says, yeah, the family had a lot of buffers. Yeah, we had a lot of buffers. You don't need a whole lot of buffers. Because if it works anything like chainmail, when the message get to you, it's going to be in the translation that's so far from the original text, it's going to be silly. You know, you'll be out here equating God to some new celebrity if you let the newer translations take you all away without the context. You still have to be in that I am. But that he will state when people are going through hell and like, man, you know, it's demon time. Everybody's on demon time. Not everybody, but you know, that's the popular term, demon time. Ironically, it sounds better than angel time. I can't even, you know, that would have been corny. We on angel time. Or maybe not. It might have flowed. Of course, in principle, that's what you want. You want, you know, angel time. I like the sound of that more than demon time, right? But folks are on demon time. They don't know what they're saying. God forgive them, for they know not what they do. Demons don't work with time. There's no such thing as demon time. Demons don't have time. They don't operate like that. There is no time in those spaces. There's no such thing as demon time. There's only the now and forever. That's all there is. There's only the now and forever. Did you know that? All of this is called now. Yesterday, that's now. The day before that, that was called now when we was there. Tomorrow, if we get there, that's going to be called now when we get there. Now is all it really is. You know, every single year, there is a December 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Every single year. Every single year. In this, though, there's only one you. There's only one you. And you have the ability to change dark matter anytime you want. And where is dark matter? It's everywhere. It's everything you see, designed and held up by everything that you do not see. So essentially what you're looking at that you think is reality, that you know is reality, not think, but that you know is reality, is really just one black sheet of paper, all of this. The sky, the birds, the bees, the trees, the cars, the people, the shopping plazas. This ain't nothing but a black screen. And there's only one way to control that black screen. There's only one way to write on it. There's only one type of ink that you use. And that's your imagination. Our Father, who art in heaven, holy is the self. Yeah. Sounds blasphemous, but you hear what I'm saying. Super T Sigma. Thank you again for your time and your patience. Stay illuminated, people.